The process of inner mystical transformation. The journey from the puzzling and wondrous initial expanses of awareness to the ecstatic awakening that is its completion, its finality, has 6 distinct stages. Though when dealing with the systematization of such a rare and complex lived reality, there are a few caveats to consider. The first is that the process of inner mystical transformation and awakening largely occurs in symbolically unfathomable realms beyond the walls and structures of language. So it is always important to keep in mind that these experiences downloaded into the containers of language and symbol are just traces, not the thing in itself, but still have some use in the same way a somewhat incomplete and even wondrously fantastical crinkled and stained parchment would have helped to light the way of those bold and mad explorers of the new lands of humanity's past. And secondly, due to the variations in biology and location in space-time, your own lived experiences of the process of inner mystical transformation and its stages may have some variation and difference, but it is more likely, despite the illusions of separateness and difference that make it appear to not be so, your experiences on this path to awakening will be similar because in reality, you and I are the same being. The first stage of the process of inner transformation is the initiation. Though the experience itself will be relative and dependent on your space-time environment, the essential core of the initiation experience is always the same. For during the initiation, you'll have an experience that takes you outside of the self that you think you are, and be initiated into another reality and state of being. The initiation reveals your true mind self in reality, who you actually are. Though it'll feel timeless, it is the nature of the initiation to just be a fleeting glimpse. For after you are initiated, you'll return to the self that you always thought you were, but which you now realize is actually a prison from which the plans for escape will begin. The second stage of the process of inner transformation is the search. After the initiation to, and experience of, the true mind self in reality, it is almost as if a template of a new mode of being in existence is imprinted, and a process has begun that will not cease until it is realized. This stage is a search for some explanation and understanding of these new expansive dimensions of awareness, a search for methods and techniques in order to return to that state of ecstatic liberation, a search for new ways and authentic and vital ways of living and being, different from the bottomless illusions of contemporary life. To facilitate these actions during this stage, one has to create and experience mystical states of awareness, to go within and understand the blind mechanical nature of oneself, to struggle against and overcome what is robotic and unconscious and unaware in your thought, behavior, and actions. The third stage of the process of inner transformation is the blackening. The blackening is the death of the will and desire for transcendence that characterizes the previous stages. Always returning to the same prison whose bars are forged out of ignorance and desire. Always returning to a life that is human, all too human, disillusioned and bored. One gives up and loses interest in that which had animated one so furiously, gave purpose to before. The once overflowing springs of inspiration and vision are reduced to barely a trickle, then nothing. The only knowledge one will receive at this stage is the knowledge of shadows, chthonic, of descent. But it is this putrefaction of self that provides the rich soil for the seeds of the previous stages to finally germinate. The fourth stage of the process of inner transformation is the equinox. The equinox could be almost considered an intermediary stage, though it is a necessary chapter in this story. Here the negrito of the blackening processes even further along into the abyss, but like most well-crafted tales, it is when the darkness threatens to become total that the saving power begins to stir. Though the ground of the inner earth has been parched and scorched, the doorways to the new world seemingly shut and locked forever, the Absolute reaffirms its reality in occasional visions and casual experiences that one and abandon the hope of ever being graced with again. It is as if when the traveler who is lost in the darkest forest, the darkest cave, is surprised and tearfully relieved to catch a glimpse of what might be the light of a torch, a candle flame. The fifth stage of the process of inner transformation is the awakening. The awakening is not only the pinnacle and goal of this system, it is the goal and pinnacle of existence. No matter where you are in the universe, what dimension, what new form, the purpose of your life is to awake. All human actions are attempts at this transcendence, though they are actions that are misguided and misplaced. Do not listen to the merchants of despair and materialism who peddle the idea that there is no reason or purpose to life on this abandoned planet, or that which is highest is to be a toiling beast whose only transcendence comes from the obsessive and obscene gluttony of the senses. For you are not slugs, you are gods. To awaken means to realize your true nature, permanently transcend the false notions of mind, self, and reality, and cross over and dwell within the truth. To awaken that power that lies seed-like in all beings, that overflowing ecstasy, a union that in a wasteland world is completely cracked and barren of such, is truly divine, a miracle. The sixth and final stage of the process of inner transformation is the resurrection. The resurrection was a stage that was completely unexpected. My previous quest to consume what felt like every word and image produced by humanity did not prepare me for this stage in its reality, whose mechanisms have heretofore been hidden behind the veils of myth, parable, legend, and symbol. When that power that lies seed-like in all beings is awakened and fully flowered, its divine energy creates a new body, a new mode of being, a body that gives one the ability to perceive existence as it truly is and to live within these new infinities. During the stage of the resurrection, not only does one's old body, mind, and contraction and suffering get broken down, ripped apart, rebuilt, healed, reborn by this sacred energy, but a new one on another plane yet somehow intertwined with this one is developed. A subtle body with its own organs and flows, with new modes of perception and new capabilities, an existence that is our actual next stage of human evolution.